Smok'n Jay's Garage. Today I am standing here, very excited about this, the brand new Smith & Wesson lever action 44 Magnum. And I'll give you a little closer look at it when we compare it with the Henry and the Winchester just for aesthetics. But I just put a couple of rounds down range with it, and so far I'm actually really liking it. I've only got like half a dozen rounds. But I'm going to put some rounds down range, let you see it. A couple of things quick we're going to go over though. It has a peep sight. Has a threaded barrel. The threaded barrel is 11/16 by 24 compared to the traditional 5/8 by 24 that all of my other guns have. So my suppressor is direct thread for 5/8 by 24. So I don't have a suppressor that's going to fit on here right now, but the 11/16 by 24 is the same as what the Ruger 7744 has, so I do have another gun that has this. Maybe we need another suppressor in the future. One of the first things that I noticed is the flat trigger on it. Nice trigger pull, big loop. I'm not a huge fan of the large loop. Actually, this is called medium loop. For me, I don't have particularly large hands, and I don't shoot with gloves on, so that isn't particularly advantageous for me, but I know for some of you guys, you really like that. But enough of me. Let's throw some rounds down range with it right away. This is gonna hold 9+1. Not sure how many I have in there because I wasn't counting. But we'll shoot what we have in there. Now I am shooting just a little bit low, and these sights have adjustments for windage. I don't see anything for elevation. I'm at the indoor range, so I don't have the option of stretching it out a little bit farther here. I'm just shooting what I have. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw in a couple of 44 Special. I'm going to switch these up here just a little bit. We'll do a 44 Magnum, we'll do a 44 Special. We'll make sure that it cycles both the Magnum and the Special. I got them mixed up here a little bit, so I got a couple of each one. Let's put my shots here out of the target. No problem cycling 44 Magnum or 44 Special, even when they're loaded up together. Everything is functioning quite well on this. It is still brand new, so everything's a little bit snug. It's going to loosen up a little bit, I feel like, after I work the lever a number of times. It does have a crossbolt safety on it. I'm not a huge fan. You see we got the crossbolt safety right there. Not a huge fan of that. I'll go over it a little bit more when I get out of the range so you can see things up closer. All right, so we're down here in the gun garage so that we can show you a little bit closer up without the noise and the angles of the camera and the range here. So, set this out. We have a 10 gauge shotgun shell here that goes with our 10 gauge. We're going to have that out at the range here in this summer. We'll have the 10 gauge out. But anyway, the beautiful looking, or at least I think, very good looking Smith & Wesson. This is the model 1854. Very good looking. I wanted to take it out down here so that we could also compare it right next to our Henry Model X in 44 Magnum and our Winchester Model 94, also in 44 Magnum. So you could get a little comparison on how they looked next to each other. So one of the things that I noticed, and I didn't notice this until I took all of these out, when I shoot this gun, it feels short to me. It is an 18¼ inch barrel, so it's actually a couple inches longer than what our Winchester is, and just a tad longer than what our Model X is. But the pull on it is a lot less. When I put this up to my shoulder, this trigger is a lot closer to me than what it is on either of these. And if I stand these up and show you, see if you can bring the camera down to the trigger area. Let's see if we can see here your trigger here versus your trigger on the Model X. And I'm also going to do the same thing right over here with the Winchester. You will notice that even the Winchester is shorter, the trigger is up higher than it is on the Smith & Wesson. So as you are shooting the Smith & Wesson, you're going to feel that it's going to feel closer to you than any of the other guns are. I believe that this peep sight is actually a Skinner. Originally I thought it wasn't. I'm told it is. I am also told, just by somebody on the internet, not anybody from Smith & Wesson, but that the 454 Casull is going to be their next lever gun, and that's going to come out in, I believe, October, possibly as early as September of this year, 2024. So I'm going to definitely be looking forward to that. Now, another thing, you've got the rail on here, and this rail is substantially shorter than what it is on, let's say, the Marlin. Obviously has a lot longer rail, and if you take a look at the Henry all-weather, obviously a lot longer rail on there. Both of those have peep sights the same as the Smith & Wesson, but the Smith & Wesson has this really, really short rail, and I was thinking, well, you're not really going to be able to put a scope on that. So I grabbed my scope. Now this isn't the scope I'm going to put on here. Matter of fact, I don't think I'm going to put a scope at all. But as you can see, we could move these rings in just a little bit closer if we had to, but they would actually fit on there. So if you're going to mount a scope on here, the rings are, I'm sorry, the rail is long enough that you can mount a scope on. The downside I see might be for some of you who want an aiming point or something that you like set farther down. You don't want it quite up so close. And the flat trigger actually pulls really nice. And now I've already shot this, and you're going to see the rest of me shooting it in the video, but actually very, very smooth. I was surprised at how smooth it was. When you compare it to either the Winchester, and I'm a really big fan of the Winchester, it is just as smooth as the Winchester or the Henry Model X, and I think Henry did a really good job with their Model X. It's a very, very nice smooth action, but same thing with the Smith & Wesson. Very smooth action. In fact, you can actually cock it with one hand. I messed it up there a little bit. But one hand cock if you want. It's that smooth. This is still pretty new. I've only got about 75 rounds to it. So, let's head back to the range. I've got, I believe, those last 7 shots. They are all in one big hole. All a little bit low, I think because I'm a little bit closer than what it is designed for. It's got the shorter rail here, so obviously you can put a red dot or a scope or something on it if you want. I like peep sights. I do think... One just a tad bit high, but the other one literally 3 of them in the same hole. We actually have the range guy right over here who's going to take a couple shots with it, so stand by. You ready?
Yeah, dude. What do you got?
Check it out. I've got 44 Magnum, and I got 44 Special.
Ooh. Or are you just shooting right now?
That was my 44 Magnum.
Are your ears on?
Yep. Isn't that nice?
And that was Magnum?
That was Magnums.
Yeah, it's just slightly low, you know? And that's when you're putting it right on the center 20.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, once I go out to 50 yards or something, it's gonna be right on.
Right, and that's what, you know, what I expect them to probably preset it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like you can put a pick rail on that guy.
Yeah.
You gonna put a dot on it, or you gonna keep it classic?
I think I'm gonna keep it with the peep sights.
That has nice ghost rings to it. Dude, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I already noticed it's starting to loosen up just a little bit. Starting to be really, really smooth, and I've only got not even 50 rounds to it yet. This is a really, really nice shooter. Smith & Wesson did a really, really nice job on this. We are going to have to take it out and compare it side by side with like the Henry and the Winchester to get a feel for that. But on its own, absolutely beautiful shooting gun. Very smooth, very accurate. And like I said, it is smoothening up some as I'm shooting. I'm going to put a couple more rounds through it. We're going to put a drop or two of oil back on it, and I think it's going to loosen up and smooth out even a little bit more. I often tend to, especially when you're shooting something like a 44 Magnum that is a little bit more expensive, I like to only load up like maybe 3 to 4 rounds at a time, because then I spend a little bit more time loading and not quite so much time shooting. Saves me a little bit of money on the ammo. Even that little bit of rapid fire there, we are still shooting in one big hole. But I wish that I could get the camera to focus in. With the lighting here, it's really bad. It's hard to get the camera to focus in on the target because of the light downrange. All you end up seeing is just a white blur. I will see if I can get my phone maybe to zoom in and put that footage there, so at least you can get a peek at what it looks like. I dropped a couple low there, but we'll see if we can get you a view here a little bit closer. There we go. We got zoomed in there a little bit with my phone, and you can see shooting at the 20, we are a little bit low. But again, we're a little bit closer range than what this probably was designed for. Not a big deal. Nice group though. You can see the paper here just scrolls up. So we've got our other shots over there. This one right here was on the 20. That's 4 shots. One of them on top, and there's 3 in that one just slightly larger hole than what the actual 44 Magnum is. I'm gonna load up some 44 one more. Actually, I'm gonna load up some 44 Special. I'm gonna shoot a couple of these one more time. If I can get this to load. Loading up is very nice. When you compare it to, as you guys know, I'm not a real big fan of the Rossi. This loads up very similar to what the Henry would or what the Winchester would in 44 Magnum. No problem at all getting the shells in. It's got, the loading gauge is plenty wide enough. If you get a chance to see one of these in the store, you are probably going to want to pick one up. Might even be worth your time ordering one. If you're watching this channel for the first time and you haven't already, and you want to, boom, please subscribe.